Say it's disinformation. Hi, everyone. The Dom Show. A lot breaking during these next couple of hours. I'm looking at a email sent worldwide to all these donors at Penn. I have to look up how many billions of dollars is in Penn's endowment. It's incredible how many people donate. And the presidente of Penn says, we have been under intense
21 billion.
21 billion.
21 billion.
Wow. We've been under intense media scrutiny and unfortunately a great deal of misinformation. That's why I want to take a moment to clearly communicate what Penn and its leaders are doing. No, you don't want to take a moment to clearly communicate. That's the last thing you want to do. You're doing this to not communicate. How many times do you think these donors are dummies? Most recently, President McGill shared an update with the campus community on recent protest activity and actions Penn is taking to ensure the safety of all students. University leaders have sent out other important messages and statements, all of which are available on a centralized website, and they give them right there. I encourage you to read the printed material. I want to specifically address one situation that predated the current armed conflict in the Middle East, a festival celebrating Palestinian artists and literature. Upon learning that several of the 120 speakers are known for anti-Semitic views and statements, McGill met and discussed the situation with the ADL. No, you just didn't learn about it. Everybody in the world knew about Roger Waters coming here, for example. Give me a break. We just learned. No, you didn't want to know. No, just the title of it. You know exactly what any one of these Palestinian groups is going to do. Point to me somebody who does it, which brings us yesterday. Now, I'm not one of these talk radio crazies that's going to tell you that what happened yesterday, the so-called Not in My Name group, demanding a ceasefire and taking over Congress, at least a congressional building, is the same thing as the riot on January 6th. But there are big-time similarities. And this Tlaib character, to me, is clearly, and this is tough to say. I know AOC has the most notoriety, negative. But Tlaib is the most hateful, almost by far, even more than Omar. An ungrateful woman who yesterday was driven to tears.
And come on, really?
And helped to stimulate this, even though it's clear that Israel did not bomb that hospital. She doesn't care about this. So how do you rein people like this in? And yet at the same time, all that we hear about still is January 6th. These people stormed the building, would not leave, had to be arrested. And notice the cops were not pushing them out. They were gently arresting them one by one. Everybody knows this phony group, Not in My Name. Whether they're Jewish or not, I'm not sure. Some of them might be. But don't do this in my name. Ceasefire right away. Here is Tlaib yesterday. As she repeats by that point, the debunked claim, is teary-eyed and essentially is helping to agitate people who, there were 300 arrested there. You know how long that took? How much business that shut down?
Not only teary-eyed, she's slobbering.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just heartbroken. Here is Tlaib.
It was Hamas.
All right, let's stop it right there. We got enough of the flavor of this, okay? You see where this goes. Wonder if there's anybody listening moved by this at all. How dare you be so one-sided? Again, in any situation over this period of time, we all know at various points you can point to this, that, or other of a situation that Israel engaged in that was an outlier. But it's an outlier. Their policy is better than our own in many instances as far as trying to prevent collateral damage of people, etc. It's obvious. But the Palestinian policy was sheer unmitigated savagery, dreaming up new ways to savage. That's why it's one-sided. So I haven't gotten that much well, why are you for Israel? What about the two-sided fair and balanced here? Go to hell. Stop it already. And listen to this woman. Just listen to this. And the thing that's the biggest tell out of this whole week is how many of these people got off on those hang gliders. They loved the hang gliders. You could feel the saliva drip, the juice when they're talking about the hang gliders, because it shows, see, we have an Air Force now, too. These crazy savages hang gliding into a rock concert to murder people right there on the spot. They're getting off on that. The hang gliders, the parachuting in. They use it as a signature. Yes.
Just got a message from a friend, lives down in Old City, U.S. Customs House outside right now, sent me this video. Pro-Palestine.
Okay.
Yep. Rally going on live.
Yeah, it's a federal building there. Yep. Oh, thank you for that. We got all kinds of sources in the field. The kiddos tomorrow walk out of Philadelphia public schools right here locally. We're trying to contact some of that, cover some of that. What is their source of information on this? You know, people are probing, why in the world would you go down this path? Well, some of it is straight up indoctrination. Some of it is just sheer ignorance. Some of it is attached to the PLO and the Palestinians as a radical movement, the George Floyd summer, all the usual suspects are banded together around this. And some of it is just plain old anti-American. That's exactly what this is. That's what it illustrates here. All these people we've been playing you this week, they all come together under that banner. Now, Philadelphia City Council did pass a resolution today. And I'm not sure, Dan, I can't tell yet. They're kind of Byzantine here. Did they all sign off on this or not? It says, whereas this council of the city of Philadelphia unequivocally condemns the attacks by Hamas and any harm that falls upon innocent civilians in Israel and Palestine and in the occupied territories, this body is committed to promoting peace, justice, and security. Then they say, whereas just before 7 a.m. local time, a rocket attack perpetuated by the terrorist organization Hamas began to hit major cities, including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Within the hour, they poured into Israeli territory. They ferociously targeted civilians, kidnapping, killing, and leaving a trail of terror. To date, thousands on both sides had died. Now, they sprinkle in here a little bit of, sorrow for Palestine, which is fine. But by and large, I have to say this resolution from Philadelphia City Council is much better than what we've seen on college campuses, what we've seen at the Penns, Harvards, Swarthmores, LaSalle's of the world. All right, so we got all that going on. I mentioned Sidney Powell has pleaded guilty in Georgia to 6 charges all around, what should we call it? Interference in the election of 2020, trying to illegally turn things around. And we are now seeing this being billed today as something that's really going to come back and bite Trump. Now, on the one hand, the fact that it's 6 and she still only has, as I read it, a fine and probation, no jail time yet, according to
We
this.
can go live to the public comment. It's very inflamed right now if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Onto the house's roof. The police decided to let the fire burn to destroy the terrorist bunker. The police shot at MOVE members, including
they're talking about
MOVE.
Yeah. Well, you see, the point is, Dan, I'm glad you hit that. This is from the Customs House. The point is...
No. That's from a public comment at City Council for the voting of this bill. This is live right now. And they opened it for public comment before having the vote.
Oh, okay. At City Council. Well, the MOVE thing and all that. It's all part of one thing here. All part of the same groups, be it Pam Africa and the gang, MOVE. They all come together around these radical ideas. The new thing is they're getting widespread support, at least on colleges. Okay.
This guy just brought up Amir Abu-Jamal too. Come
on.
Well,
it's all part of the same.
And he got a booze.
Yeah, it's all part of the same gaggle.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's cheers.
So they have passed the resolution, though.
I don't know.
Now, maybe they haven't voted on it yet. Yeah, so we'll determine that. But the resolution is pretty strong here, without a doubt. All right, coming up, I'm going to take some time and lay out RFK Jr. Those of you that support him, it's cool. All the conspiracies. I get the vaccine stuff, etc. We want something new. What do you say to RFK Jr. signing off late yesterday on reparations? And is this a move to undercut Trump more than Biden with reparations, in that Trump is starting to get, not starting, even in the last election, for a Republican, pretty good play with African-American males and Latinos of both sexes. Is this a ploy is he really now targeting Trump more than anything else? I'll tell you what he said on reparations, and it's a tell on this guy. If you're a conservative, if you are somebody, even an independent conservative, whatever you call yourself, how in the world do you square up RFK Jr. on so many issues? Or isn't it just, it feels cool, this guy's yelling about stuff that obviously Trump and Biden don't articulate well. But coming out now for reparations. Let me give you the side question.
The crowd just booed a woman who's a Jewish woman who's saying how she's been treated as a Philadelphia police officer. Right when she said she's a Philadelphia police officer, the crowd just erupted in boos.
Yeah. Philadelphia City Council, the mob that's let in there. I mean,
hey, folks, let them speak. Please, go ahead. Sorry.
We are the granddaughters of Holocaust survivors. And what terrifies me more than the Nazis and more than Hamas is the silent majority that allows this type of hate to perpetuate. I want to thank council for not being the silent majority. I deserve to feel safe in my city as a Jew. Please, thank you so much. Please pass this resolution.
All right. This is, Dan, I don't think this is going to get a unanimous vote. I'm itching to have Kendra Brooks say no to this so we can ask Josh Shapiro about it. You hear the mob there? No, you don't feel safe in Philadelphia. You're part of the problem if you're Jewish. That's what the mob is saying there. My God. All right, dip in if we see something else here in Philadelphia City Council.
We only have the live stream, so we'd have to take it live.
Okay, if you hear something,
so I might just have to cut you off with something here.
Now, we had a great side question lined up. We'll keep it in our back pocket because sadly yesterday, Burt Young passed away at the age of 83. Just a quick question. I told Dan already, so he's out. He'll figure into the side question. How old was Burt Young when we first saw him in a major role? Now, Dan, you didn't see him in the Sopranos role, right? Or you don't remember it?
I don't remember it.
All right. We had this Long Coal Sally guy, right? He was a maniac, even by mob standards. Beats a guy into a coma, paralyzes him for no reason with a golf club. He used to carry a putter. But the guy's cagey. He won't open up his door so they can kill him. And Burt Young is playing this aging guy with emphysema, et cetera, right? And the Long Coal Sally guy knows him and thinks it's good, to let him in because he thinks he's going to make everything right now with Tony Soprano and all. And Burt Young needs a glass of water because he's fake coughing. He shoots him, gets into his own vehicle, has to light up a cigarette. He's so overjoyed that he killed a guy, and he crashes his car into this billboard in North Jersey. Quite a role. I mean, just beautifully done. All right, but mainly 6 roles as Rocky. How old? 855-839-1210. Play along with this one. How old was Burt Young in that first Rocky? How old was he when we first saw him in the first Rocky, the meat locker? That scene, I'm not a loser, Paulie. You're the loser. Yo, Paulie. Well, Jim, we don't have time right now. I'm sure Jim will get into that scene in a minute here. He'll with the baseball bat, the whole thing. Side question. Give us somebody who is not the main actor may only be in a film or TV show, but steals the show. Dan, I thought long and hard on this one. I'm going to say Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men.
Ooh, okay.
Jack Nicholson is talked about a lot, but he is not. He's only in there time of maybe 20 minutes out of a 2-hour and 50-minute show, right?
You are entitled to.
That's not my favorite line. You know it. You're damn right I ordered a Code Red. When he finally can't tell, I'm going to order one on you right now. Oh, my God. Well, Jack Nicholson didn't have to stretch. He's nuts. You know, he got an 8-iron out of a car in a traffic jam once and was beating a guy's car in Hollywood when they stopped him. So there's that. All right, so I'm going to say Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men was not the main character, was kind of a supporting actor in that, if you will. Even though he's so big, he eclipses everybody. Stole the show. How about you?
I'm going to go. Let's see if I can get this queued up right. Is it going? Is it going? There it is.
It's a rare condition this day and age.
Family Matters. The show that started as a family drama with Reginald Bill Johnson and his family, playing out first 2 seasons. The next door neighbor, Steve Urkel, becomes such a sensation Friday nights that it takes over culturally, and the show becomes the Urkel show. So he starts off as a supporting character, the side character, and he's just such a draw that he becomes the show. He becomes the main character. I don't know if you're going to be able to beat Urkel, but yeah, one of those great side characters. And I take one more off. It's very close to our heart.
Sure.
Doing that commercial now, the Yada Yada commercial, George Costanza, I got to take off as well.
Yeah, he's not the main character.
Not the main character, but I would say Jerry's the least entertaining out of any of them.
Oh, yeah, he is. I think Elaine is the glue that holds it together. Without her, it doesn't work. A lot of people think Kramer's the main character. I don't see that.
Yeah.
It's George that might be the main. His foibles are the most stuff that you get.
I think he is.
Yeah. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. That's the side question. How old was Burt Young? We'll give you that in the first Rocky when we first saw him on screen. It looks, by all accounts that I can tell you, there's no vote today. Jim Jordan stepping aside. This McHenry guy who's kind of swampy. Just let him be. More powers, interim speaker. That's what they're going to do. Oh, my God. They're killing the base with this stuff. Just killing us. And we have an exchange that you usually don't get. And I didn't even hear this, Dan. I just heard a snippet of it from Fox and Friends this morning. One of those Republicans from the New York area, right, was on with Lawrence Jones. They really started to get into it about.
I had that.
Yeah. I sent it to you. Should have. Yeah. We'll play that. I don't know if Steve Ducey wrote the other day, said, Peter Duce. She called him, what the heck? Duce, like he's El Duce or something. What the? All right, 855-839-1210. And I realize in times like this, it is depressing. We pushed them over the top, got them the majority, and they still can't come up with a real speaker. And Brian Fitzpatrick, who may call in, told the Inquirer he was going to vote not for Jordan. I think he wanted a bipartisan committee right away. As soon as you hear that, no. You see Democrats, here's their bipartisan committee. Every single one of them voted for Jeffries every single time. Not one stepped out of line out of all those Democrats. Not one. Why? They know what would happen. Not one. Also, we have an oldie but a goodie today. Nancy Pelosi calling Hamas a humanitarian group. All right, it's a little bit older. And she said, that's what I'm told. They're kind of humanitarian. 855-839-1210. You get in with Dom and Dan on Talk Radio 1210.
It's the Saturday Night Free-for-All. Starting at 7 p.m., Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is live and local with Michael Pelka from 7 to 10 p.m.
Idiots are everywhere. You can't swing a cat without hitting an idiot these days. And I'm not
Okay, it is Dom time. Welcome in. Dan, a little update for listeners. We were talking during the break. Apparently, a Rabbi Levin was speaking.
It looks like
at
David,
City Council.
I was listening offhand, kind of, and David Levin was making some comments, how important it is to, back Israel and such. And then there was some kind of stir, and then the mics cut, and Daryl Clark, council president, left the stage. Well, left his stand. You know how he kind of sits on that throne above everybody else?
Right.
Walked off, and now there's a wide shot. I don't know if this was because he couldn't settle everyone down or what, but it seems like things are on pause right now during the public comment session for this, resolution coming out of City Council.
All right. So, it's a simple resolution, essentially saying, and they give, deference there, everybody in Gaza too, yada, yada, yada. But they call out Hamas, which is just how much more blatant. And yet they're having trouble getting through a city council meeting on the resolution. We talked to someone and said, it's just a resolution. We do this all. No. Dan, we were right. They were
Someone
not.
was accosted, I think.
He was what? Somebody attacked him?
No, I don't think he was attacked. There was someone that was accosted by security on the floor, and there's an attempt to delay the vote.
Okay. Wow.
I'm trying to get information as we're live here.
The mob is there trying to shut down what is a radical city council that finally found its voice and says, you know what, this is just savagery. And yet they still can't get to a vote on it. Amazing. It's just amazing that this is where the biggest story that I see, what's happening in our area and what's happening on college campuses and other places across the country. And tonight, President Biden speaks. Look, we can bash him all day long. This is cut 8, Dan. But this yesterday, particularly, I think I put it up on my Twitter at DomShow1210. I'm not saddened anymore, but I'm not going to be one of those things. I'm just outraged that this guy stays in office, is running again, and has a reasonable chance of being reelected. And the wifey, who wants to stay in the White House, listen to him yesterday, even for Biden, doing a press gaggle aboard Air Force One. Even for Biden, this ought to frighten everybody that there is just no coherence here whatsoever, worse than usual. Here's what he said. Cut it.
Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken to. I learned a long time ago, what you've all learned in your life. When someone's going through something that is beyond their comprehension, they never thought they'd have to go through.
All right, Dan, I think that's enough. People get a sense of it. It was, I think, 90 seconds, maybe not even 90 seconds of this, of just, and the handlers all around him, why they decided to do that, standing up in front of the media like that, more uncontrolled environment. My God. It is menacing to all of us to see this. And it's not sad. It's the same thing with Fetterman. You make a choice. You want to do that. And somehow or another, you were elected. You're in there. Okay. Which reminds me, one of the all-time oxymorons, Dan, I was thinking about doing that today. Kathy Boockvar has opened up a consultancy business. She's the former Secretary of State. She's the woman that was in charge of the voting infrastructure here in Pennsylvania in the 2020 election. So driven to get Joe Biden elected, you may remember, she didn't send out notice, and those survivors of sexual abuse still have not gotten their day in court. Her consultancy firm is on voting integrity and integrity in elections. Can you imagine anything her name is next to? How are we ever going to get people listening now, or anybody, to say, yes, everything is being fairly done. Everything is, I'm on board, whatever the results are in 2024. My goodness. Kathy Boockvar surfaces. All right, nobody guessing.
Council members are coming back into the room now.
Yes.
I do have some audio. This is from about an hour ago, Dom.
Okay.
So I don't know if this was the first person that was thrown out of the council, because about an hour ago, I have video of someone else being thrown out of council as well, if you want to hear that.
Yeah, let's hear a little bit.
Here you go.
Now get him out of here.
Free Palestine. End the genocide.
Free Palestine.
End the genocide.
Go Trump.
Now, these people are here and they've been egged on, just like all the illegal people coming across the border and ending up in New York. They've been egged on by city policies, by progressive policies up and down the line. And you can't even conduct a city council meeting without this sort of nonsense going on over a simple resolution about Hamas. How will they vote? It's going to be really interesting to see what they do. All right. How old was Burt Young? And I read this in 3 places today. It's hard to believe, Dan. Oh, yeah. Well,
Daryl Clark,
yeah.
returning order.
Through this. All right. And I was hoping that we will be able to get through this without an incident.
This is live right now.
Tensions are so high about a matter that, frankly speaking, we have no jurisdiction over. But we understand that. Hey. So, ma'am, all this like screaming and hollering is not going to get you anywhere, right?
Oh, really?
So we are trying to be as fair as possible to let people speak, right? Under the rules, we actually have the ability to suspend the public comment, right? And I tried to be fair and let everybody speak by limiting the time. But it is increasingly clear that we are not going to be able to get through this because people continue to scream and holler and interrupt based on your perspective.
Well, wait a minute.
So
one side's doing it here.
I'm at a point where I'm ready to ask our colleagues to suspend the testimony. You all can submit your written testimony, and we can move on with the council, and we will ultimately have a vote on this particular resolution. I don't like to do that, but if we're not going to be able to get through this process, then I have no other choice.
Okay, we got the point. I just want to see.
Vote
I want to see the vote on this. It's typical. It's typical. And these people are here. They believe they've been emboldened. They're going to overrun whatever the situation is. They've been coddled. They've been able to get away with it. Tomorrow they'll walk out of the schools. They'll be screaming hateful things toward Jews. Really, the target, though, is America. They hate America, any number of these people. Not all, but any number taking this position. That's what it's about. It's sheer, unadulterated vitriol. So I'll be surprised if they're able to let people talk a little bit more. All right, Burt Young, Dan, I told you, was only 36 the first time we saw him as Paulie. Was it the hat? Was it the meat thing? Or did people look older back then when they were around 36? Apparently he's Italian. He's got a real Italian name. And he's been in a lot of stuff. But
I can't believe he's 36.
All right, Google it. I don't know what our best source would be, but he's certainly in Rocky 1, Rocky 2. I have to go through all the Rockies in my mind. Really helped add a dimension to it that was incredible.
He was 36.
He was 36.
36, wow.
That's a nugget of the day. Wow. What the heck? And I don't think they made him look older intentionally. I just think he naturally, he looked that way. Unless they were saying, you're the loser, Paulie, not me. I don't know. I can't go back in there with the meat anymore. All right. 855-839-1210. You get in. So who is it, side question today, that stole the show? Was a supporting actor like Nicholson. You heard Dan, a couple that he took off. Let's go to John in Marlton. Hey, John, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hi. Good. Yeah, sure. Right. All right, good choice. Yeah, that is. It had the highest at one point. The farewell to MASH was up there with Super Bowls as far as the number of people that watched. All right, we'll put that one down. 855-839-1210. Coming up, I want to tell you about RFK Jr. coming out for reparations, why that's important. Krasnerland, by the way, today at about 3:10 on the station's Facebook page, facebook.com/1210 WPHT. I'd love to have you along. We take your comments along with it, or you can watch it at any point. There's a lot that happened here with Krasner over this last week, including questions yesterday by the media. Well, you wouldn't seek the death penalty for these people that murdered that cop in cold blood? Krasner will not go for the death penalty. Doesn't believe in the death penalty. I mean, it's an obvious thing. Philadelphia doesn't believe in the death penalty. They want to kid themselves and say it's not worthy. I mean, what do you have to do to get the death penalty? The answer is they're not going to do it. 855-839-1210 is how you get in. Hey, snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's when you place a $5 bet. $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, no better time to get in on the action. The app, very simple, easy to use, instantly gives you a wide range of betting options. So visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M. And FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome in, everyone. It is Dom time. All right, this is fandom. It's so pathetic. We said that at the beginning of the series with the Diamondbacks, how overmatched they looked. And after the first game, after they've thrown their two good pitchers, now they have a guy with a weird name and a 6-point ERA and then a bullpen game. Oh, my God. So apparently the ticket prices are so cheap in Arizona.
So cheap.
You have fans, Phillies fans, buying them up so that Diamondback fans will not be in the seats, so there'll be empty seats, and that the Philadelphia fans that are going might sound louder for the Phillies. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so WIP, there was a caller that called in from Australia who actually kicked this all off, and he said, quote, "It's my contribution to the World Series, hopefully victory." He bought 4 tickets for the sole purpose of leaving the seats open in hopes that he can have a quiet game over there, comparatively to Citizens Bank Park, obviously being the loudest stadium in the league right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
also, people on Twitter, Dom, from Philadelphia are now donating to local Boys and Girls Clubs out in Arizona in hopes that they can purchase tickets to at least bring kids to the game.
Yeah, well, that part's good.
You know, that's cute.
Good.
Obviously, they'll be cheering on the Diamondbacks, so you're kind of buying Diamondback kids fans there, but they're underprivileged kids. They could use it. My friend did some science here. He did some research. Found that you can fly to Phoenix tomorrow, leaving Philadelphia at 3 p.m. You can land at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, get to the game by 8. You can sit in the 300 section, stay at the airport hotel, then catch a 7 a.m. flight back home on Saturday for around $650 per person. That's assuming that you have somebody to go with to split the hotel room.
Well, that's clinching the.
So comparatively, World Series tickets right now are well over $1,000, and if you want one seat here, for the Phillies, it's about $300.
Oh, it's going to be ferocious for a World Series. Now, this Stubbs guy's got to calm down, though. The backup catcher, Dan, he wants, if the Phillies clinch there, which they will, to have the pool party there, jumping into the pool.
You don't like that?
No, I think it's kind of off message a little bit. You don't think so?
They did it when they won their series, so it's kind of like
right.
But at the same time, Philadelphia would freak out if a team was disrespectful enough to do that.
Can you imagine if you had a team here, they beat the Phillies, and then they're jumping in the pool?
Yeah.
Or let's say it was the Eagles, and there happened to be a pool there.
Let's say it's a Philadelphia thing. They beat us for the NLCS, and they go out and climb some poles on Broad Street.
Okay, there you go. What do you think? That's even more. Can you imagine? Yeah, we're going to take it to you, Philadelphia.
That's not going to go.
You better have several divisions of Marines scaling those poles.
But when it's us, I love it, man. I encourage it.
I just think the pool thing is this guy Stubbs. He's got too much time on his hand as a backup.
When he came into the game with his mascot, he looked like a kid wearing a Halloween costume.
He did. Now the upside of this though is the ovation that Trey Turner. Let me see if I can make this point with the Phillies got. Which I wasn't on board with that point, but hey, it seemed to work for him. It's a new day. The standing ovation he got when he wasn't going so well. JT Realmuto said it didn't just boost him, it boosted the entire team. Now, most time these athletes will not say that, even if it's true. So maybe that's why this team's so different and refreshing. This team, I would argue, Dan, and I can think of one that had this type of magic. It's not just winning. It's not just dominant. It's not just that. There is a chemistry. There's something that happens that intrigues people. I remember the 93 Phillies, Macho Row. I think because they weren't expected to do too much. And out of the first 40 or 50 games, they won like 80% of them. And then they beat the Braves. They lost in the World Series, Mitch Williams' team. But that team had so many characters that went on to broadcast or are beloved for that reason. This team, though, is a lot nicer, has a lot better players, but there's a magic. Can you think of any Philadelphia team that has had magic like this, connection of people like this? The 2017 Eagles, because it's the Eagles, because of Kelsey and all, I get it. But it pales in comparison to this. It really does. This is bigger than any of that.
Like, it really feels like a couple of Philadelphia community members are just succeeding on a national stage comparatively to professional athletes doing it for Philadelphia. Like, they feel like they're ingrained, they're woven into the fabric of Philadelphia. And I think that's largely credit due to Bryce Harper. I mean, when he first came here, wearing all the fanatic stuff, it was kind of seen as pandering and, well, do we like this? But then it kind of became realized that, no, it's actually genuine. He does love the city. And I think the fans are offering him the same amount of love. And he's kind of built this team around, I would say Middleton's really built the team around Bryce Harper, but Bryce Harper's the one that brings the camaraderie and spreads it, I think, to the younger players. Now you have, Stott, who's become a beloved figure in Philadelphia. And you have Stubbs and a Bohm, and I don't think those guys become as beloved from Philadelphia if they don't have, Harper guiding them with the relationship.
I think it's some of that.
The type situation.
A team occurred to me, though. Broad Street Bullies. Still to this day,
Yeah.
Bob Kelly can't buy a drink in Philadelphia. I mean, mayhem. The stuff that they did, and they won. So last time the Flyers won, that team kind of rivals the connection that people had to it. But this is,
I would say, the core of the 08
Right.
Phillies, too. And the core, I mean, Utley, Howard, Rollins.
those three. Yeah, but you know what? As a team versus this,
Yes.
they're not beloved like that. They're
down,
not.
yeah,
And
all the way up
the
and down even.
tell is, it's women or some people that are casual fans. They love the whole spectacle of it. They're on board with this team more than any team that I've seen.
We
Except
it's become so much of Maisie's thing that we actually spoke for some time during the game as to who the most attractive Philadelphia Philly is.
there we go. What was your vote?
My vote was Trey Turner, but she said he has too much of a baby face.
Yeah, the hair.
The hair too.
I'd love to have Trey Turner's hair. I gotta say, most attractive Philly.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's a tough
I feel
call.
like the song's appropriate.
Yeah,
for this
it's probably a backup player.
I was surprised with her answer. Well,
What was
first off,
her
she
answer?
said Nick Castellanos, but only when he's wearing a hat.
Yeah,
She said his mohawk is so
it's not
stupid
good.
looking, she thinks. She said JT Realmuto, but he's a little too authoritarian, policey looking for her.
Okay.
And then who's the last one? It was one of our pitchers.
Let's see. Hoffman, Alvarado.
no.
Not what's the name? Not the Kimbrel.
No, the starting pitcher, the kid that was crying the first series, Ranger Suarez.
Oh, Ranger Suarez.
She goes, I have this weird thing for Ranger Suarez.
Ranger Suarez.
I'm like,
Hey, Dan, put that-
babe, was it the buttoning down and
Right.
the unmatching undershirt that he was wearing the other day?
Yeah.
She goes, I don't know what it is. It just seems cute.
Put that up on a Twitter. The most attractive Philadelphia Philly. Dan, let's see who by the end we get the most votes for.
Bryce Harper, she looks too much like our friend for her
Right,
to consider him. He's a good-looking guy, though, Bryce Harper, right?
Something a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. I'd say Castellano with his hat on is a good observation. When he takes it off, not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Brandon Marsh, not all that hair.
And an underdog here, Christian Pache, with his style that he comes in with.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a fashionista. I mean, he plays it up, so I don't know.
All
I don't know
right.
if she considered him.
All right, we'll have to see who garners the most votes in that at Dom Show 1210.
Ipso facto says maybe Maisie is a Latin thing.
Here's a good thing, Dan. These people taking down these just miserable leftists, taking down posters just all over the place in New York, Philadelphia, of the hostages, right? Times Square is going to put up there, that big digital thing all across Times Square. They're going to put the hostages up there. And I hope that Philadelphia will do something like that. Can you imagine the miserable, that's what the left is. That's what these progressives are, just miserable, petty people tearing down the pictures of the hostages. How much lower can you get? Well, a lot lower. They're working at it. And 855-839, and they're proud of it. They're walking around taking down pictures of hostages. That's an endearing image from this whole situation. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210. All right, let's talk about Rhino Shield. Let's talk about the biggest sale of the year. Let's talk about getting your home Rhino Shield before winter. Getting going. Yeah. You want to act on this? I've told you about it. It's like paint, goes on like paint, but Rhino Shield never chips, cracks, or fades. Ceramic coating guaranteed for life. You never have to paint again. It can be applied to almost any surface, truly waterproof, weather-resistant, durable, helps insulate your home. Remarkable product, 25-year guarantee. Just as important as the product is the guy behind it. Local Rhino Shield owner John Gilgee delivers every time. Really has worked with tons of my listeners to upgrade their home. Long, durable alternative to paint. He can do that for you, and he can get it in time, done by the winter. You avoid potential pricing increases next year, supply chains, all that stuff. Get it done now. Don't wait. Call him at 844-RHINO-99. Again, get all this done very soon. 844-RHINO-99. The website, myrhinoshield.com. All right, Dom Giordano's show. Welcome in, everyone. 855-839-1210. You get on board. Terrell Parker here at 2:30 today. Lot to talk about. Rare interview as we head into a couple weeks to vote for mayor. And Krasnerland returns today at about 3:10. Facebook.com/1210 WPHT. Dan and I have a lot stored up for that. Glad several people on Twitter got it too. Yeah, the only team I can go back to 93 Phillies, Macho Row, because it was so unexpected. But the Broad Street Bullies, there's so many entertaining parts to this team. That Regrettable Song is one of them that it's had over 1 billion hits on Spotify. You can't be a billion. That's hard to
A-OK or
believe.
Dancing on My Own?
Dancing on My Own.
Yeah.
The A-OK, I can't take.
Really?
No,
That's
I
great,
just
man.
the Dancing on My Own is a lot worse, though. It really is.
So Sharon writes in, so we were talking before the break of the most attractive Phillies.
Yes.
I apologize to all the men for this conversation, but it seems the women are loving it because Sharon writes in, Bryce Harper's #1, masculine and gorgeous.
As a man, you can recognize
I think
another guy.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
of course. I do that all the time.
There's a lot of
with
bro
them.
love on these Phillies.
I know. I could say that Trey Turner, yes. I still can't get over that guy's slide. See, I look for stuff in sports that I can't do. And some guy on Twitter goes wild attacking me saying it's a pop-up slide. People have been doing that the last 50 years.
You're like a female that's attracted to a guy that she doesn't find attractive until she finds out he has tons of money. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's totally attractive. That's you with sliding. It's like, oh, yeah, Trey's decent looking, but the slide, man.
Oh, the slide.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, that does it for me.
No, I look for things that are singular. It's one of a kind to be able to do that. I haven't seen anybody do that.
Zarb Trent says, good-looking Philly, Johan Rojas.
Johan Rojas. Not sure. Okay, yes.
Minnie says, Aaron Nola's pretty hot.
Oh, this is now.
Yeah.
Soon it's going to be Kyle Schwarber. Oh, my God.
I asked Maisie for her opinion on Schwarber's look. She hasn't gotten back to me.
Okay,
she has no
waiting
idea
for
where
that.
this question's coming from right now.
Okay, so it's 855-839-1210. This is a huge story. 2,000 actors, artists accuse Israel of war crimes now. It was only a matter of time. The pivot has gotten underway. What's the pivot going to be when Israel finally moves on Gaza? I'm not sure of the moment that will happen. By the way, the Wall Street Journal, usually their editorial page, several of them I like, and usually they're spot on. Dan Henninger today says, what's happened in Israel has now flipped for a moment the Republican race. And voters will be looking at people like Nikki Haley and Mike Pence. Hey, Dan, you don't get the Trump base of the party. Now, we don't want Nikki Haley, unending wars. We don't want Mike Pence, unending wars. That's not flipped at all. All right. So I will be shocked if Nikki Haley is a nominee beyond belief. And if she is, I don't see a win here. I see people sitting on their hands. Biden tonight speaking not just on Israel, but also on Ukraine. Notice what he's going to try to do. Try to package the legitimate sentiment for one of our greatest allies, Israel, with what's going on in Ukraine. We got a special guest tomorrow at 2:00. It's going to lay out famed international lawyer. His client are Christians and Orthodox in Ukraine under fire from Zelensky. Big interview tomorrow at 2:00. All right. Calls, though, coming up at 855-839-1210. All right, let's talk about Captain Chucky's, though. Game tonight, 5:00. Well, you have to get over there at Captain Chucky's before the game tonight to be ready. But then we have tomorrow night, might be the clincher. Celebrate with Captain Chucky's because they're always keeping new things and fresh things. And right now, if you have not tried the banging crab ravioli or the lobster ravioli with that amazing blush sauce, give it a shot today or the weekend. This brand new product, too, at Captain Chucky's, the Philly Famous Clams Casino. My people there, where I go, they tell me flying off. And, of course, the breaded, I love the non-breaded crab cake, literally a crab cake for everyone. The Dom Roll. I have to check how many thousands a day of the Dom Roll gets sold at Captain Chucky's. And they only use always the highest quality ingredients. That golf shrimp, huge hit, perfect for watching sports. Now's the perfect time to do that, even Halloween parties. Visit one of Captain Chucky's 19, soon to be 20 locations. New owners, Frank Valachi and Michaela Burns in Colmar, John and Cindy Clark in Huntington Valley, Tony and Jamie Parson in Cinnamenton, in Runnymede, New Jersey. See the Vogelsang family in Flowertown, the Smaraglia family in Ocean City, Chris and Donna Ryan in Seattle. It's the McCann family. Now, Sea Isle and Ocean City open Fridays and Saturdays, noon to 5. Congrats to Sam Cancelleri, Irish Mike McGarry. Medford, New Jersey location now open, but coming soon to Northeast Philadelphia and Home Circle. Congrats to the Graziani family. It's all there for you on one website to give you everything you need. We love crabcakes.com.